Jai Ram
Jaya Gopi Janavalabha Girivaradari
Jaya Gopi Janavalabha Girivaradari
Jashodanandana Vraja Janaranjana
Yashodanandana Vraja Janaranjana
Jamunathira Vanachari
Yamunatira
Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari
Jaya Radha Kunja Bihari
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Hare
Hare Krishna Hare Krishna
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 Hare
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 Rama Hare
Hare
Rama Rama Rama
Rama
Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Hare Hare
Krishna Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Rama Hare Hare
Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Prabhupada Shira Prabhupada Jaya
Prabhupada
Jai Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Jai Hari Bol Harinam Sankirtan ki jai. Hare Krishna Mahamantra ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Jai Gaur Premanande. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Narayanam Namaskrityam
Narayanam Namaskrityam
Naram Chaiva Narottamam
Naram
Shri Krishna Hare Murare Narayana Vasudeva.
Can someone unmute everyone? Narayan Namaskrityam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jaimudirahe Nashta Prayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki. Okay, reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, first canto, third chapter, number 31, in relation to Krishna is the source of all incarnations. Yatha nabasi mega ogaha renurva parthivo anile evam drashtari drishyatvam aropitam abudhi bihi. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Translation: clouds and dust are carried by the air, but less intelligent persons say that the sky is cloudy and the air is dirty. Similarly, they also implant immaterial bodily conceptions on the spirit self. Purport: it is further confirmed herein that with our material eyes and senses, we cannot see the Lord, who is all spirit. We cannot even detect the spiritual spark which exists within the material body of the living being. We look to the outward covering of the body or subtle mind of the living being, but we cannot see the spiritual spark within the body. So we have to accept the living being's presence by the presence of his cross body. Similarly, those who want to see the Lord with their present material eyes or with the material senses are advised to meditate on the gigantic external feature called the Virata Rupa. For instance, when a particular gentleman goes in his car, which can be seen very easily, we identify the car with the man within the car. When the president goes out in his particular car, we say that is the president. For the time being, we identify the car with the president. Similarly, less intelligent men who want to see God immediately without necessary qualifications are shown first the gigantic material cosmos as a form of the Lord. Although the Lord is within and without, the clouds in the sky and the blue of the sky are better appreciated in this connection. Although the bluish tint of the sky and the sky itself are different, we conceive of the color of the sky as blue, but that is a general conception for the layman only. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitamena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah. Shri Chaitanya Manovishtam Stapitamena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Gadama Yam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Tapataganam Shri Guru Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagratatam Sagana Raghunatanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sagana Lalita Shri Vishakamitam Shri Krishna Karna Sindhu Dhinabundu Jagatpade Gopisha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namaste Tapta Kanchana Gaurange Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranami Haripriya Vancha Kalpadarvasya Pasandevyocha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavibhyo Namo Namaha Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prashtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharane Vishesha Shunyavadi Vasate Deshtarane Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasade Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare Mukam Karati Vachanam Pangulangaita Girim Yatpatmanande Shri Uram Dintaranam Paramananda Madhavam Shri Chaitanya Ishwaram Neelachala Nivasaya Nitya Paramatmane Palabhadra Shukadrabhyam Jagannatha Te Namo Namaha. First canto, third chapter, text number 31. Yatha Navasi Megagho Renurva Parthivo Anile Evam Drishtari Drishyatvam Aropitam Abuddhibihi. Clouds and dust are carried by the air, but less intelligent persons say that the sky is cloudy and the air is dirty. Similarly, they also implant material bodily conceptions on the spirit itself. It's a very technical verse. Generally, we understand some stories in our best of ability. We can contemplate or relish or relate to the stories which comes. But Srimad Bhagavatam does have a lot of intricate technical verses which actually gives us more detailed about how strong the philosophy of Krishna consciousness is and brings to the basic essentials of our existence. So Srimad Bhagavatam is one literature which you can actually see every single thing. It's like a rainbow colors. You have got different colors in this, the entire Vigyar. But in the same way, Srimad Bhagavatam has everything. It has adventure, it has philosophy, it has stories, it has got deeper meaning to life. It has got some essentials which every single human being in the entire cosmos needs to understand. It also has different ways by which the interactions between the great saintly persons are the kings of the yonders They have allegories, they have got many similes, metaphors, many ways by which Srimad Bhagavatam presents us the entire essence of our existence. But however, as a practitioner, as a devotee, as a person who wants to know more and more deeper into the understanding, it's got everything. Just like they say that there is a book which has for the elders and for the children. In the same way, you name it, you have that particular subject matter which actually being brought to you in place. Like someone is more inclined towards the astrology, astronomy, and cosmos and all that, you can go and refer to a fifth canto or from third canto onwards. So someone who wants to know more about the medical sciences, they can also know more. They can also understand it in the fourth canto. So there are many places where Srimad Bhagavatam actually brings the privilege for us that Krishna is the source of all incarnation. Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. We are not this body, we are a spirit soul, and the Supreme Lord is very mercifully staying with us in this body. But there are many, many people who actually don't want to relate it with that truth. That's the absolute truth, Satyam Param Dhimahi. But however, since this is a very technical subject, which is actually normally discussed only with very high level of great scholars and philosophers, but they do get into some kind of a misunderstanding of the body and the soul, or misunderstanding the external energy of the Lord, or external Virata Rupa of the Lord as a form of the Lord itself, which is very temporal in its nature. If we can think or contemplate on the previous verse, which we actually discussed, I will just go back to the previous verse just to make sure that we understand. The conception, the translation says, the conception of Virata, universal form of the Lord, as appearing in the material world is imaginary. It is to enable the less intelligent or the neophyte people to adjust to the idea of the Lord's having form, but factually the Lord has no material form, which is a fact, it's a truth. But unfortunately, many people don't agree to it. Why? Because they have a feeling, because what if the Lord has form? That means I'm restricting them. God could be understood in the Srimad Bhagavatam first canto. Of course, we have read it in the first canto for second chapter, that God can be understood in three levels, right? Brahmeti, Paramatmeti, Bhagavaniti, Sabhyate. The Lord can be understood. And then the Lord is also got a personal form. But however, many people reject that thought that God cannot be restricted to a specific set of forms and thoughts. Why? Because they feel a fear. What happens if the God doesn't have a form? Then I am in trouble, because that's a very less intelligent people. This is what Prabhupada explains in Bhagavad Gita and in Srimad Bhagavatam also in many places, that mean mentality people cannot understand the Supreme Lord in his completeness, in his wholeness, as the Supreme Lord, as a form, Bhagavan feature, right? So this is why we need to understand it very clearly and then convey that message to the less intelligent people. Because what's the difference between the Virata Rupa and the real form of the Lord? Like an example, beautiful, many examples are given in this particular verse itself, right? Example is the dust is carried by the air, but the less intelligent people think that the air is dirty. There is no concept of mixture between those two. They don't contemplate themselves to be in one single place, right? Just like how you've got glass pieces, right? Glass is basically made up of dust, right? It's made up of silica, which is sand, right? But however, when you put the glass in the water, you can make a very clear demarcation that the water will never get coagulated with the same thing, right? Water stands on top, the glass pieces have to go and sink into the down, right? In the same way, clouds are there, but we actually say that, oh, sky is cloudy. Where is the cloud? Where is the sky? Sky is much ahead and above the clouds. Clouds are very, very, it's nothing but contemplations of all the droplets of water or the molecules coming together and forming some kind of a cloudy picture. Similarly, the spirit soul and the body don't have a concept of getting mixed to each other. They don't mix each other. There is a living entity whom we call a soul. There is a super soul who is living in the body. That is the Supreme Lord himself. And that's because of the living entity inside, encased in this body, by the causeless grace of the Supreme Lord, who is as a spirit soul, Supreme Spirit soul, that we are still in this body. And moment the Supreme Spirit soul, whom we call as Paramatma, if he decides to exit out of this body, there is no way by which we can live in this body. So the body is associated with matter, but the soul is never associated with matter. The body has this by default 5 Panchabhuta, right? Earth, water, fire, air, ether. That's all the body is about. It's just matter. But there are some very fundamental understanding, essentials, which we need to understand as spiritual aspirants. This is very, very important for all of us. If the foundation is not strong, we can never build a great castle. But the concept of Krishna consciousness lies on these fundamental principles. First one, I did say that God can be conceived in 3 ways, which is the highest being the Bhagavan feature. Second one is that small things like matter. So attention to details are very essential. When we understand the theory of soul and body and their differences, their relationship with the super soul or the Paramatma, we need to understand it very clearly. In the olden days, people actually are naturally inclined towards being connected with this tattvas or the principles, right, of cosmic manifestation. However, nowadays, people are more interested in, they're pretty badly failing actually, that they are not interested in connecting with the roots. Instead, they are more enamored with the glossy, shining externals of this world. So this is something the spiritual aspirant has to relinquish. It may not be on day 1, but it can definitely be at day 10. So we need to slowly enable ourselves, empower ourselves from the books of Srila Prabhupada, from the books of the Acharyas, from the details he is giving us in so deeper manner. We need to slowly elaborate ourselves from the ignorant state at which we are. The next one is that we can honestly see the Lord when we have the eyes anointed with devotion. But we cannot see the Lord with our current eyes or the present eyes. But we need to develop that finer faculty to see the Lord through the eyes of the holy names, right? Premanjana Churita Bhakti Vilochanena Santas Sadaiva Hridayeshu Vilokayanti Yam Shama Sundaram Achinta Gunaswarupam Govinda Madi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. Lord Brahma is beautifully giving this beautiful Premanjana Churita Bhakti Vilochanena. You have to have the Prema Bhakti. Then you can anoint that devotion, that Bhakti, by which you can see the Supreme Lord in person. But till that point of time, we cannot take everything for granted, but we need to build up our essentials. Prabhupada, even in the entire Bhagavatam, entire Chaitanya Charitamrita, entire Srimad Bhagavad Gita, he only talks about the essentials of human life, the frailties of human life and the essentials of human life. He never goes beyond the concept of saying that you are not this body or a spirit soul. The only concept he always dictates, decides, defines is that you are the spirit soul. You don't belong to this body. You are engaged in this body. Because you are engaged in this body, you don't have a choice to go into another supreme abode where the bliss is in eternity. So this is very essential for us. So Prabhupada here explains that less intelligent men who do not want to see God immediately, without any, they want to see the God immediately, but they don't want to see God first of all. But if they want to say they want to see the God, very immediate. They want it immediately without any qualification. So for those kind of people, God has to come and give some kind of a different ways. If you can't eat it straight this way, you'll have to be given an option to eat in the other way. So in the same way, Krishna is giving us this beautiful opportunity for us to get understood very clearly about the concepts of body, soul, spirit soul, Virata Rupa, how Krishna is available to all the living entities, and the best and highest level is the Bhagavan feature. So a devotee of the Lord, a devotee means equivalent to only Krishna devotee. There is nothing called devotee of Rama. Yes, devotee of Rama is equivalent to devotee of Krishna. But devotee of, say, Shiva, This is a concept which has evolved itself. We have started telling that everyone is a devotee. Excuse me. So, but here, Prabhupada explains very clearly that if you are a student of Srimad Bhagavatam, you should know that you should deep dive, understand these principles thoroughly. This is very essential for us. Vedic cosmology helps us significantly to know where we stand, our relational element. It comes in the third canto and so on. There are so much places where you are able to get all these details to a larger extent that we don't need to go for any other place for understanding this subject of Krishna consciousness. Or you don't need to understand that, okay, this is what world is. This is not what we need to understand it with. This world is a temporal place. There are more information available for us in the spiritual realm that are available in Srimad Bhagavatam pages. When we understand it deeper and deeper, then we will be elaborately given this option by the Supreme Lord himself. So then we'll be able to relinquish this material world as a place of misery, a place of hypocrisy, place of terrible quarrel, and it is not going to be of any use to me in any point of my lifetime. And we will start our journey towards back to God. Till that period of time, we'll have to practice in a very constitutional, consistent manner this process of Krishna consciousness by chanting the holy name of the Lord, reading Srimad Bhagavatam every moment, living the life of Srimad Bhagavatam. Then we will relish all these informations which is very clearly mentioned. We can actually make the differentiator. We can actually know those things, detailed things. Like we would not say like the common people say that the sky is cloudy, air is dirty. We will make a very clear demarcation. We will know what is right, what is wrong. That detail is very much needed. Unless until we have that in our place, we will not be able to proceed further to a very big, large practice. So this is the essence of this particular verse. I would stop here. If there is any questions, you can humbly ask or however you want to. In the meantime, I just wanted to tell you that today is Dwadashi. The break time has already started and it ends at 10:29. So make sure that you all break your fast. And that's very important. And I also would want to say that today one of our congregation members' birthday. I don't know if we have got a chance. It's been announced. This is Shraddha's birthday. Shraddha is daughter of Sushant Prabhu. So we pray to the Lord that she becomes more Krishna conscious, become more wonderful devotee in practice, build up a lot of essence to her life. She's got a few long life in future. So we want all the children to become more and more serious. We are trying to bring up an essence of Srimad Bhagavatam by practicing as much as possible and then giving it to them. So we want everyone to practice and follow it up in a most possible manner. Okay. Yes. Sole Mataji, you have a question.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhu, for the class. Prabhu, can you help me to I'm a little bit confused, I think. So when you mentioned the Paramatma feature, so like how is it is our soul like is I don't know. So like we're leaving the body. Do we follow, so like, is it simultaneously happening that super soul is leaving the body, or like we're just following, or how is it? Little bit, like, can you please elaborate, Prabhu?
I still can't understand your question.
So when you said, like super soul, when Paramatma decides to leave the body,
Yeah.
so we cannot live in this body anymore.
Correct.
Yeah,
Correct.
but I maybe before I have not come to this like thought, or like it's my lack of my knowledge.
No
Yeah,
problem.
but like how does it happen like simultaneously that we leave this body with Paramatma?
Yes, we do have to leave the body immediately, not even momentarily. At the same instance, the moment the super soul moves out, you are actually going with the super soul, and you carry only three things with you: mind, intelligence, and ego. That's all. You have got nothing to do with this body, and it's all instantaneous. You have to go out of this body means the moment the super soul moves out of this body, there is no way you can stay and say, I will come later. There is no way. You're out means the super soul is out of this body, you're out of this body too. You cannot stay anymore there because the body is nowhere fit enough to stay there. The body exists because the creator exists with the body. The moment the creator says, I'm out of this body, I've got nothing to do, based on the desires, based on the reasonings and many things, you will have to leave this body. That's instantaneously.
Yes, Prabhu. Thank you. Thank you so much, Prabhu.
Okay. Anybody has any questions? Okay, great. So no one has questions. That's nice that they have understood. Yes, Sukama Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, thank you so much for wonderful class. If you can just explain a little bit more about leaving Bhagavatam, like you mentioned that. So if you can just elaborate a little bit more, please.
Good point. Very good point. Living Bhagavatam. What is Bhagavatam? There are two Bhagavatams. One is book Bhagavatam, the other is person Bhagavatam. Book Bhagavatam is the one what we are actually reading, right? Which is being given to us by Srila Vyasadeva. That is person Bhagavatam. The person Bhagavatam is the personality who has been practicing Bhagavatam all his lifetime, like Srila Prabhupada, our spiritual masters. And there are many, many devotees who have been practicing the words, what has emanated from the words of Srimad Bhagavatam as a book. So what it means to be practicing to follow the Krishna conscious pattern of book Bhagavatam is that whatever it is said in the Bhagavatam scriptures has to be reflected in the person who is also practicing. It may not be a day one that you are going to be pakka as it is as per what Bhagavatam is, but we need to evolve ourselves to that level. It might take some time. It may probably take a few lifetimes, but we have started the process. The process of Srimad Bhagavatam is so clear and clean that any person who starts understanding the words of the scriptures is actually practicing the words of the scriptures. Just like, for example, we have a washing machine. The day one, you will not know what the washing machine contains or how it works. But the moment you start using the user manual, which is given with the washing machine, you know which are the functions which needs to be used for something. Let's say, for example, if you have woolen clothing to be washed, you will not use the cotton one for the woolen. You know it, so you will have to use the woolen option. So in the same way, Srimad Bhagavatam is the guide, the manual, it's our essence of our life. So it keeps giving us inspirations, it gives us intelligence, it gives us the way of life, it gives us the method in which we need to learn how to run this life. So that is what is explained. And then automatically you will see it on the devotees who practice this in a very deeper manner, elaborated manner, and a constitutionally constant manner. In constitutionally, you need to be constitutionally present, not that physically present, mentally absent. Then you will not be able to achieve anything, right? That many people do, right? Especially in Zoom, many people do. How do they do? They'll be in the Zoom, but they will switch off the video. So what does it mean? Physically, I am ticking the box that I am present in this August assembly, but mentally I am doing many things. I am cooking, I am taking my breakfast. You could see some devotees holding a mug of tea or a coffee or whatever. I don't know what it is, but I'm just giving an option. And they take it and then they keep eating. It's evolved. knowingly or unknowingly, without your knowledge, you are getting evolved with the world in which you are. Because you see the same Zoom even in your office. So what do? There also you do the same thing. Just give me a minute, I'll just bring a cup of coffee for myself. And then you go there, you bring it and you keep it as if you are attending a meeting. So this is another one, ticking the checkbox. That will not progress. Krishna consciousness is not ticking the checkbox, nor it's a career path. If you are thinking that Krishna consciousness is a career path, okay, now I'm chanting 4 rounds, I'll go and chant 6 rounds, 8 rounds, 16 rounds, then what? Then I go to the level of Guru Ashraya, then I take initiation, then second initiation, then what? This is not Krishna consciousness, it's not based on some career path which is defined. Prabhupada never wanted Krishna consciousness to be a career path. It is not for certifications we are all doing here. It is that voluntary, natural love for the Supreme Personality of Godhead which we are trying to imbibe. We don't have that love. No, we don't have, because that's what is stated here, right? Everyone wants to go to God and wants to see God. If you ask, have you seen God? They will see this. They talk like this. Have you seen God? You're not seeing God. So then why are you telling me to see God? Right? They rebelliously talk. But how this practice of Krishna consciousness comes is only when you can become more humble and meek. Because doors of heavens are open only to the humble and meek. And automatically you will start learning it. You will start guiding yourself from the scriptures, from Bhagavatam, from the practitioners of Bhagavatam, and then you will evolve yourself to be a better person. Then actually you will see that. Premanjana Churita Bhakti Vilochanene. That love for Krishna will start coming to you through the eyes of Bhakti. That's why we have been given, like, for example, we all sat together and then chanted our rounds, right? Why are we putting ourselves in this kind of a early morning, 7 o'clock on a Sunday morning? Why do we have to waste it? Instead of that, I would be sitting in front of the TV and see GMB, right? Good morning, Britain. I'll sit and talk. Some idiot will be sitting there inside the idiot box, and he is taking our time also away from it. Shastras doesn't explain that. Shastras are very clear, right? Early morning means Vedic practice. Vedic practice is chanting the holy name of the Lord, reading the scriptures, deep diving on slokas. You should by heart slokas. The best period of time to by heart slokas is from 5 o'clock to 5:15. Every day, anyone who wants to really know how to practice this bhakti yoga, to learn the slokas, even for children and for adults, it's all the same. The most fertile period is from 5 o'clock to 5:15. Moment you sit and meditate on the Lord and then pray to the Lord, pray to Lord Ayagriva, the horse form of the Lord, then you will practically see. In our old children times, they used to wake us up at around 4:30 for what? They'll give us a cup of probably hot milk or whatever, or Horlicks or something, and make you study so that your memory level increases in the morning. You cannot have the same amount of impact in the later evenings. But nowadays, children don't get up at morning 4:30. You ask any of the children, our own congregation children, what time you get up? 7 o'clock. And just before going to school, right? This is what is happening. It's a natural phenomenon. Why? Because parents are not taking that responsibility to ensure that the Vedic scriptures which they have got from their parents are there. We never had the chance to get up before the sun. Sunrise means we should have been up and running. Nowadays, people are only waking up after the sun sets, not sunrise. We are in that kind of a formulation. So then where are we going to? We can never practice the words of Bhagavatam. Right? We should appreciate God has given us, and that's why it's called, oh, good morning, right? Otherwise, where is the morning here? British always said good morning. Why? Because they suddenly saw the sun coming to their their area. So this is a practice. It's not one day affair. It's a lifetime affair, because this is our lifestyle. We take it, we learn it, and we all have to learn it. It's not that I'm just trying to tell you and then you do it and it's not for me. No, everyone. This is very, very essential for us. Okay.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you.
No problem.
Hare Krishna.
That's the question. some realization after the class. We say the door was broken, but who was it broken by? Door cannot act itself as it's not a living entity. Can we give this example? Yeah, you can. If you feel that a door is a good example for you to convey the message to people who can understand it better. But always understand that there is always a creator behind the creation. You can never contemplate to say there is no creator, but there is a creation existing. It's impossible. Krishna is there in every moment, every atom, every institutional place. So that's a fact of life. We need to accept it. Suhurdam Sarvadehinam. So he is the well-wisher. So he is always the well-wisher, and he will be the only well-wisher to the entire living entities. So we need to practice that with that inspiration. That is what is all this Srimad Bhagavatam is all about. Srimad Bhagavatam, Srimad Bhagavad Gita, all these are inspirations. If you think that it's a pain, you will not be able to practice. But if you think this is pure love, then you will just relish everything which comes out of Srimad Bhagavatam's words. Nigama galpataru gharitam phalam, right? This is a pure love in form of beautiful cream of the entire Vedic scriptures. We can't read the Vedas, lakhs and lakhs of verses. We can't even contemplate on this. Single verse had so many, and like that, it went on. Okay, Prabhu, is all of the cantos in line with Bhagavad Gita or specific? No. Bhagavad Gita is the philosophy. Srimad Bhagavatam is the pastimes of the Lord, or the contemporary relationship, or the different interactions the Supreme Lord has with his devotees. But however, Bhagavad Gita is there presented by Srila Prabhupada in all the cantos, and in the same way, Srimad Bhagavatam's details are also present in Srimad Bhagavad Gita. That's the purity of Srila Prabhupada. That's the purity of a pure devotee. That's the walking Bhagavatam personality. And he is the one who is actually presenting it to us in a very deeper fashion. This is pure personal philosophy. We have to we are not at this point of time very personal. We are very impersonal because it is imbibed in our system for millions and millions of our lifetime. Very impersonal. We are very impersonal. But we need to come to the level of personalism, just like how Krishna takes care. Very beautifully. In fact, there is a beautiful story in Ramayana. In Ramayana, almost at the end of Ramayana, the war between Rama and Ravana, that one particular point of time, Indra actually sends his own chariot for Rama to use. He was not very sure at the entry point of time because he was thinking that what will the group of monkeys can achieve to fight out Ravana. Ravana is so powerful and he is such a brilliant fighter. I have never come across anyone who can beat Ravana in his lifetime. Because Indra, with his own conception, because he got beaten by Ravana thousands of times. Every time he goes to a war with, every time Ravana wants some money or something, he goes to the heavens, and Indra had to fight. And the only way by which is a pure defeat. So Indra did not bother too much about it. So he took it for granted. So that's an impersonal concept. Because he did not think about then there is a person who exists in this world who can still beat Ravana. So, but still he gave the chariot. The chariot was given, and the chariot driver of Indra is called Matali. So he came, he said to Rama, Lord Rama, this is Indra's personal chariot. I am your driver. I'm happy to drive you for this war. Rama said, okay, that's great. At that point of time, Ravana was actually not in a good space because he had got beaten by Rama by putting a lot of arrows onto his body. So the driver of Ravana had to take Ravana away from the war field so that he can recuperate and come back. So in the meantime, Rama got into the chariot and immediately said, Matali, take me to the place where Ravana is now. The next moment, Rama stopped it and said, I am extremely sorry. I did not mean to hurt you, and I did not want to give you instructions in that rude fashion. I apologize for it. Can you imagine a supreme personality of Godhead? There is no one else. He is so humble. He is telling to a charioteer of Indra. Who is Indra in front of the Supreme Lord? Right? So, Lord Rama is requesting Matali, saying that I am extremely sorry. I didn't mean to be rude to give you instructions. I just took it for granted that the chariot and the chariot driver belongs to me. Don't read me wrong. Kindly take me to the place where Ravana is now. He changes the way in which the presentation is. This person, Rama, is so extraordinary, even though he came as a human, the Supreme Personality of Godhead himself. He showed that kind of a humble nature and the care. This is what his devotional care is about. How can we give a devotional care to an impersonal form? We can only, here we are talking about Virata form, which is imaginary in its nature. That is why we need to bring these people who don't have that. So you need to care for them first. His Holiness Jayapatak Maharaj says, if you can't make a person a devotee, doesn't matter, at least make him a friend. Don't make him an enemy. So in that manner, we have to slowly bring them to the speed at which we can actually give that knowledge, the essence of Srimad Bhagavatam to those people who don't have the concept of personalism. On the other hand, Ravana was pounding and shouting at his driver and saying, what nonsense are you doing? Why did you take me away from the war? People will disrepute me. They will think that I am a nonsense guy. I didn't have the guts to stand in the war between Rama. You brought me away from the war field. Then the driver had to explain, no, you are very unconscious. You are in a comatose state. I didn't know what to do. I had to bring you out so that I can give you some water, throw some water on your face, remove all the barbed wires and the arrows which is stuck in your body and in your mouth and everything. I need to remove it off. So that's why I had to take the time. Still, in spite of all this being told to Ravana, Ravana blasted that driver. See the care level. A person who is selfish, a person who is selfless. The devotees are selfless. The devotees are always selfless, but they are selfish of the Supreme Lord, Sri Vishnu. Swartha gatim hi Vishnu. Right? Durashraya Bhairatta Maninaha. They are very swarthis. They are selfish only to acquire Vishnu. But whereas the non-devotees, they are selfish only for themselves. That's for their liking, their love, their care. So that means they are impersonal. They are not bothered about the other person. So we have to come to that level. Then we will understand all these things very smoothly, very deeply. It will come on its own, but we need to come out with that essentials, clear the fundamentals. All other things will fall in its place. Okay. Yes, I hope I answered Shainya Mataji's question. Yeah. Any other questions? Otherwise, we are good to pass it on to Sukama Mataji. Today, we don't have Bharti Mataji here.
No, Prabhuji.
Okay, that sounds good. All right. Okay, so any announcements?
Not that Bhakti Mataji informed me about, so we can end the program today.
Okay,
Thank you
very
so
nice.
much. For the
Okay, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Granthara Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai.
Yeah.
So if you all have time, you should read this. Go to vedabase.io and then download. There are two books. One is Ramayana, another one is Mahabharata. Study that. It's important. The more you understand the Vedic scriptures, it's very powerful. It's very, very essential. We cannot let go. Don't think that this is for children's. Children's in another world. You have to do for yourself. First, design your life. Then you can design your children's life. If you don't practice, the children won't practice anything further because they see what you practice. Right? There you go. So he's got Chaitanya Prabhu has very kindly posted the IP address and the website, vedabase.io/English library. You got Srimad Bhagavatam, and you got Srimad Bhagavad Gita, you got Sri Ramayana and Mahabharata. Okay. Srila Prabhupada.
Prabhu, Dom Prabhu has
What's that?
announcement. I was just wondering if Dom Prabhu has announcement.
Thank you,
Dom,
Soleil.
yes. Where is Dom Prabhu?
I'm here.
Please.
Thank you.
Can someone highlight him? He's got a very important announcement on the allotments. Can we highlight him? Yeah, Dom Prabhu is here. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hello.
Thank you for the class, Vishal Prabhu. Yeah, just to announce, just to let you know that we are attending the allotment for the first time today at 12 o'clock in Spencer's Wood, 12 till 3. So if you're able to come, and we're just going to be starting off by clearing the allotment, cutting back some overgrowth from the autumn. And so if you can attend, just drop myself or Nitai a message and let us know in advance. So we know what numbers to arrange any prasadam for. And yeah, that'd be great. Also, we need to be able to let you in through the gate because it's locked. So if you're interested in coming and it's a lovely sunny Sunday, then just let us know. And we're starting the process of getting to know our plants, the world where our food source comes from.
Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you for the announcement. Excellent. Hope to see you all. Hare Krishna. Okay. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripasindebhyo cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namah. Anantakoti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
His Grace Vishal Gauranga Prabhu ki jai.
Thank you.
Jai.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you, Prabhuji, for a wonderful class.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.